Hello. This video is going to demonstrate the field functionality of Simply List View Enterprise. So once you've installed Enterprise and we're at the Start tab, um, I'm going to run through the options or the example here. And we already have an example in the HQ examples tab. So if we go to the examples tab and go to field function example one, it gives an example already. And I have been playing around with this a little bit. So as you can see, nothing is changed on this list view right now. Okay, I've actually removed the function. And so you can see that nothing has happened there. On the left-hand side here, you can see the Apex class, the function implementation that needs to be provided in order for Simply List Views to recognize the function itself. So once you've built that function in Apex, um, you can then take that name of that Apex class and you can set it up inside of your list view so that a function is performed on the values as they're coming through. Okay, so you can see here the function name is the name, the API name of the class. Okay, in this particular case, we have a prefix here because we're using the example test class that is created by mm, Simply List Views Enterprise. In most situations, you would just have the Apex class name. Okay, so let's give this a go, and I'm going to create a brand new example, and we're going to see how this functionality works. So what I'm going to do here, first of all, is create an Apex class. And I'm going to just make this a little bit bigger so that everybody can see what's going on here. I have literally cut and paste what was in the example tabs code, and I have changed the name of the Apex class. So you can see here, list view field function test. And then what I've done is I've added some code in here to change stuff based on some function that we want to perform on the value. Okay, so you can see here the value of the field that's coming in. And then there's also this map of the context. And right now, the map only contains one thing, and that is the S object associated with the field value. And this allows for an implementation to be able to check for different values, take the ID and do stuff with it, all that kind of stuff. Now recognize, of course, that this function is going to run for every single field, okay, on the within the data set. So if you have 100 rows and you have a function on one field in each row, it's going to run 100 times. So don't put DML queries into here. Everything must be cached, okay, otherwise it will fail. Okay, this is going to run as many times as there are rows in the list view. Okay, so just a quick little example here. We're checking, making sure that the value is not null. We're making sure that in this case it's a string, but it could come in as a decimal. It could come in as anything based on what has been provided by the object, by the S object. We're going to get the S object itself, and really we're not going to do much with this S object. I am doing something with it here, but just as an example, this really gives just a good idea as to how to actually retrieve that S object from the context map. So we check that the object is not null. If it isn't, we turn it into an S object. And then what I'm basically doing here is just checking to see whether the name contains Burlington, right? As one of the Salesforce account examples. And if it is, then I'm just adding on the words plus good to the end here. Okay. And then what I'm also doing is regardless of whether it has Burlington, I'm going to uppercase everything. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quick save this. Okay. So everything worked out. And then what we have to do is we have to go into the list view, and we have to make sure that the function has been set within the list view column data. Now, um, if you're using Enterprise, you will be able to use the list view wizard in order to do this. I'm not going to show the list view wizard here, but you can also do it through the UI if you don't fancy doing it through the JSON, directly. But here you can see I have added my function, and then I've added the Apex class name for that particular field. Okay, and we're going to use it for the account name here. So you can see the label account.name. So we click save. Okay, so that's been saved. And of course, the list view that we are updating here is this list view. Okay, so I know which list view configuration I'm working with here. And so that is how I came to choose this particular list view functionality or the configuration. Okay, so now what should happen is if I refresh the page, and we go to the examples again. Okay, so what's happened here is that all of the account names have been moved to uppercase. Okay, and in this particular case with Burlington Textiles Corp of America, we have the good at the end indicating, that we have checked and found that that particular record contains, the word Burlington. Now, of course, this is a very innocuous example, and in most cases, something this simple would not be needed, perhaps, but what might be useful is to check and see whether something is null. If it is, you can, set a specific value, or you can tell a user, something. It really, it's open to a lot of, um, flexibility on the part of, you know, what the process needs in order to be able um, to get the job done. So that is how you use functions within Simply List Views, and as a part of the enterprise suite.